And more news from across the world, with the Chinese government escalating its efforts to tide over a dip in its economic growth. China's new loans for the first half of 2022 allegedly grew to a new record high. The Chinese economy has taken a hit for many reasons, the strict lockdowns chief among them. China claims its foreign trade grew by 9.4% in the first half of 2022 compared to the same period the previous year. Chinese General Administration of Customs says exports grew by 13.2%, imports by 4.8%, though with a massive base effect. US President Joe Biden begins three-day visit to Israel. He will also meet Palestinian officials in the occupied West Bank. It is Biden's 10th visit to the country. His first was in 1973, when he was a first-term U.S. Senator from Delaware. He's met every Israeli Prime Minister since. Iranian authorities arrest internationally renowned filmmaker Jafar Panahi, the third Iranian director to be locked up this way as the government escalates its crackdown on the country's cinema industry. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese holds bilateral talks with his Solomon Islands counterpart in Fiji amid concerns about recent China-Solomon Security Pact, which the Oceania nations fear could end in a Chinese naval base in their backyard. In the 9 to 12 placings match of the FIH Hockey Women's World Cup, Spain and the Netherlands on Wednesday at Estadio Olympic de Tarrasa, Spain, Indian women's squad defeated Japan 3-1. India overtakes Pakistan to reach the third position in ICC ODI team rankings following their thumping 10-wicket win over England in the first ODI at Kennington. Earlier, India were placed fourth in the rankings. Cricketer Jasprit Bumrah regains number one spot in ICC men's ODI bowler rankings following his career best spell in England, which helped the men in blue crush England by 10 wickets in the first ODI. Olympic medalist PV Sindhu makes winning start to Singapore Open 2022 campaign, defeating her Belgian opponent in the first round of the women's singles. Playing on court 1, PV Sindhu won the match in 2 straight games. Germany confirms women's Euro 2022 quarterfinals berth, beating Spain in Group B game at the Brentford Community Stadium.
Burning Question, powered by Century Ply, GeoMart and Sharda University.
Massive anti-national plot busted in Patna, 6 arrested. Question remains, plot to target PM Narendra Modi. Did terror suspects lay down 2047 plan? Questions arise as cops uncover terrorist plot in Bihar before PM's Patna visit on July 12th. Bihar police has not denied alleged PFI link in the plot to target Prime Minister, revealing that the accused were former members of SIMI. Massive controversy over unparliamentary words. Government counters opposition leaders. Lok Sabha sources respond to opposition allegations, say removal of such language being done since 1954. Hello and good evening, I'm Sucharita Kukreti. You're watching Burning Question. Bihar police have arrested 6 suspects who were allegedly involved in the plot to target Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the state. The police had first arrested 2 people, including a retired police officer, busting a potential terror module, indulging in anti-India activities. The group had allegedly planned to target Narendra Modi during his visit to the state on July 12th. Now, police also seized several objectionable documents related to extremism from their possession, including an alleged document aiming to Islamize India by 2047. Yes, an Islamic state by 2047. Now, the question arises, was there a larger conspiracy? Let's debate after this report. Was there a plot to target Prime Minister Modi during his Bihar visit? Bihar police uncovered a plot to target Prime Minister Modi ahead of his visit.
ये देखिए जो दो लोग गिरफ्तार हुए हैं, जलालुद्दीन और अत्तर परवेज, उनके यहाँ से ये झंडे इस तरीके से काफ़ी मात्रा में मिले हैं, जो संभवतः लग रहा है कि पीएफआई का है.
Even the PFI angle is under scanner.
और रेड करने के बाद दो लोगों को डिटेन किया. मिस्टर जलालुद्दीन जो रिटायर्ड सब इंस्पेक्टर हैं झारखंड पुलिस से, और दूसरे मिस्टर अतहर परवेज जिनका पास्ट बहुत ही कलंकित रहा है. ये सिमी के पहले एक्टिव मेंबर रहे और सिमी के जितने भी एक्टिविस्ट बिहार में हैं उन सबों के ये बेलर रहे हैं.
But the PFI General Secretary has refuted PFI angle.
See, 100% what I'm telling you, never believe the police narrative, because we have seen time and again that police narratives never stand up in many places. Many cases, you read the document, you will come to know this is nothing but a work of fiction and imaginary work, nothing else.
Not only that, Top Cop has confirmed larger nexus to it.
एफआईआर में कुल 26 लोगों को नामजद किया गया है, जिसमें अधिकांश लोग बिहार के हैं और कुछ लोग बिहार के बाहर के भी हैं, कर्नाटक के हैं. बेसिकली मोबिलाइज़ करती थी, मस्जिद में और मदरसा में यूथ्स को मोबिलाइज़ करते थे और कठोरता की तरफ, जिसको हम अंग्रेजी में रेडिकलाइजेशन बोलते हैं, उसके लिए ये लगातार कार्यशील थे.
देखिए ये रिकवरीज हुई हैं, ये फ्लैग्स हैं और फ्लैग्स के अलावा ये फॉर्म्स हैं, सोशल डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया मेंबरशिप एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म. किस तरीके से ये लोग रिक्रूटमेंट ड्राइव चला रहे थे, और कुछ लीफलेट्स भी मिले हैं. ये देखिए उर्दू में लिखा हुआ करीब 30 लीफलेट्स इन लोगों को मिला है, और ये सारी बात की तस्दीक देता है कि कैसे ये लोग संगठन चला रहे थे.
Details have emerged that they retrieved personal details of RSS leaders. As per the initial probe, there was a full-fledged showdown planned within the state. The third accused, Arman Malik, who is said to be the kingpin of the Divide India module, has been arrested. But the question remains, was there a bigger plot to attack the Prime Minister? Let's debate. And guest joining me on the burning question, I have Manish Barrier, who's the leader of JDU, joining us on the debate. Professor Sangeet Ragi joins me on the studio. Pathikrit Pine, political analyst, joins me on the show, and so will Tuhin Sinha, BJP spokesperson, in a few minutes. Tausif Ahmed Khan, political analyst, joins me live from Kolkata. Syed Faisal Ali, RJD senior leader, will be joining me on the show, and so does Professor DK Giri, political commentator, joins me on Burning Question. And let me begin with Professor Sangeet Ragi. A vision document for what? For a full-fledged attack on the state. A vision document for what? For making India an Islamic state by 2047. And also, this vision document speaks about subjugating the Hindu majority. Do you think there was a larger conspiracy to this?
It may be very surprising to you and many of your viewers, but since I track political Islam in this country and even outside world, I am well aware of the fact. If you look at the document of SIMI and the constitution of the SIMI, the objective of the SIMI, and also the objective of the PFI, you will find that they say the same thing. They want, for them, this is a Darul Harab. This land has to be converted into Darul Islam, where there could be rule of Islam. At the moment they find that it is Darul Harab, there is no rule of Islam here. So for them, I remember a few years back, one of the members of the SIMI had written to the court that the SIMI doesn't believe in the Constitution of India, it believes in Shariat. And if you look at the behavior and the actions of the SIMI, they are on the same pattern. So coming to the nutshell in a brief, their motto is very simple. They want to convert India into an Islamic country, Islamic majority. When it happens, how it happens, that's a question, and that's a very debatable issue. But remember that population jihad is one of the measures, one of the instruments of converting a country into Darul Islam. So by converting the population, native population, or by producing more and more children, both these tactics are usually applied by the Muslim populations. I'm not saying again that every Muslim does this, but I am saying that this is the pattern which you found in a kind of, and this is the kind of narrative that the Maulanas and Maulvis share with their disciples and their followers of Islam, that you are the one, and probably this is taught in all the madrasas, that you are here to rule.
Let me go across to Professor DK Giri. Let me go across to Professor DK Giri, because Sangeet Ragi is making a larger point. He's saying that this is the mindset. Now, Professor DK Giri, can this radical terror mindset still be dismissed after we have this vision document for 2047, which specifically speaks about subjugating the Hindu majority, and it says that the rule should be of Islam and that we will establish by 2047?
Sucharita, I am a student of international politics, but I am surprised to hear that such a document exists. And I've been more surprised to hear my friend Professor Sangeet Ragi saying so elaborately about Simi's plan and the Islamic Jihad, etc. If all these information is knowledge and information is available,
this is not a document in public domain, sir. This is not a public domain document that you would be hearing about it. It is not being circulated to the public at large, sir.
Sucharita,
it's not like you would know about it and I would know about it. We didn't know about it and it existed. That is the whole debate. It is being circulated. Yes, that is the whole debate.
Wait a minute. What I'm saying is, if this knowledge is available with people like Professor Sangeet Ragi, and I'm sure the national intelligence also will be aware of it. So then why no action has been taken? That is my point. I am surprised, absolutely flabbergasted, that there is a plot to assassinate our Prime Minister, and a supporter of the government, my friend Sangeet Ragi, knows about it, and the NIA should know about it. Why are they sitting on it, such a useful information, and not give it to the government to kill this plot? I am surprised. I didn't.
Sir, the plot has been exposed after these arrests have been made, sir. Professor Giri, the plot gets exposed after these. The plot gets exposed after these arrests have been made.
Please don't be ridiculous. I am hearing it in the national channel.
No,
He's saying it.
You think I'm being ridiculous, Professor Giri? You still want to turn a blind eye to whatever has come into foray, sir?
No,
you still want to turn a blind eye. You still don't want to believe the greater threat. You think the police would just make these arrests without having any information? You think there was nothing happening and these arrests have been made and this story has been concocted?
Why action has not been taken so far? Why now? If we knew all this information, that is my point. You and me are saying the same thing.
Professor Giri, are you trying to say there is no plot and it's all being fabricated? Because that is what I understand from the comments that you're making.
No. I believe
that is what I'm understanding.
No. If he's saying it, there is a plot. If he's saying it, there is a plot. My problem is why no action has been taken so far. Why this knowledge has been not shared with the relevant authorities. Do you hear me? I am not saying anything. I heard him and I am only asking.
Let me go across to Pathikrit. Professor Ragi, I'll come back to you. Pathikrit, the point being made here by Professor Giri is that no action has been taken. Now, these arrests have been made a day before the Prime Minister was in Patna. Now, these arrests have been made and this information has been put out in public domain. These vision documents were collected. There was information, and still people like Professor Giri want to just dismiss it outright.
No. You are...
Sucharita, first of all, I hope some of the panelists will not disagree to the fact that in 2013, when Prime Minister was in a rally, there was a series of bomb blasts in that very Bihar, and there was an attempt on his life. We have seen what happened in Punjab in the recent past when he was actually some kind of there was a siege and he was blocked in the middle of a flyover, and there could have been any kind of consequence at that point of time. If there could have been a drone attack, there could have been a lot of things. So unfortunately, many of the state governments, even when intelligence inputs are being given, they don't act. Sometimes they look at it from the perspective of politics. They don't realize that national security has nothing to do with politics, and national security. Sir, can I please speak? I was silent. Everybody was silent when you were speaking. So let me tell you, Sucharita, Sucharita, when you talk about, I am not saying that, all Muslims are like that or these things like this. I'm sure majority of the Muslims are, ordinary people like Hindus, but there are certain elements. See, we are in the middle of a hybrid war. I'm telling you what that hybrid war is. Number one, you have a large amount of fake currency which is pushed into this country for devastating the economy. Number two, you have a large amount of narcotics which is pushed into this country. Number one, which is a means to the hybrid war, and at the same time, it is to finance the hybrid war. It has a debilitating impact on the new generations. We have seen what happened in Punjab. We have seen what is happening in Kashmir right now. Number three, infiltration and radicalism actually also happens. There are, whether it is PFI or whether it is certain Pakistan-based groups and certain Pakistan-based Islamist organizations spreading radicalism, or whether it is Islamic State. Issue is we do have a problem. The problem, Sucharita, is we do not have a national policy when it comes to dealing with radicalism. Unless somebody does a terror attack, we don't consider that person as a terrorist. We have a problem. We do have a problem, but we don't have a national policy.
On elements who are trying to draw a wedge, who are working on this separatist agenda, and these people are exactly that. They are working to draw a wedge between communities, between religions. And when you when you work on a false propaganda, when you fabricate lies, Tausif Ahmad Khan, and you tell people that Muslims are under danger, that the Hindu majority needs to be subjugated, that there has to be an Islamic rule, otherwise the Muslims will suffer. This is the fabrication of lies, and this is what is drawing a wedge between people. Tausif, can you hear me?
Ridiculous. Yes, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, it is ridiculous to think that a politically irrelevant SDPI with two arrested person who gives a martial art training is going to break India. It's never going to happen. Let me assure you that 100% of India's population wants India to remain as it was in 1947 and wants the constitution to be followed. There is there's nothing of that sort like Hindu Rashtra or the Islamic State is going to happen. Even though police investigation is underway, police will take its action. Police has arrested people and will take this investigation to logical conclusion. And let me quote what the SSP of Patna had said. No involvement of any mainstream religious institution has been found. The organization worked to radicalize youth. The modus operandi was similar to that of RSS Sakha. They train the youth under the guise of physical education, and they give martial art training. The police is investigating it. What are the materials found by police?
Okay. Now I will read out what the ASP of Phulwari Sharif had to say. He said the first two arrested persons have been identified. They have links with the PFI. Jalaluddin was earlier associated with the Students Islamic Movement of India, SIMI. Now let's not turn a blind eye to this. Tausif, why are you doing this?
No, I'm not asking you to
why
turn blind.
Why are you doing this?
I'm not asking you to turn blind.
No, why is it irrelevant? Why is it irrelevant? SIMI was banned for a reason. And the people who are linked with SIMI are now growing through other ways. We need to be open to this. We need to be
Islamophobic BJP propaganda.
No, Tausif, why would you not speak on this?
Make it look like what it is not. I will not allow you. In order to further the
what is it? What is it? What it is not is very clearly you're trying to tell me it is. You don't think it's a horrific plan. You don't think that it is a plan. It is a full-fledged plan for a showdown with the state.
India will remain a republic. India will remain a democratic nation as it has been. India will remain.
You and I are not on different platforms on that. Tausif, I agree with you. Sir, I agree with you. No, Tausif, I agree with you. India will remain a republic. India will remain a secular country is what you're trying to say. But then the ones who are trying that India should not remain secular, why don't you speak against them? That is my question.
Yes, I am.
And if you want to turn a blind eye to this, I don't know why you're doing this. No, let me go across to Manish Barrier and Syed Faisal Ali.
I am demanding ban on PFI.
No.
If PFI is a threat.
Manish ji, will the Patna police take it to a logical conclusion? Because here,
institutions like
a few of my guests and Professor Giri very clearly said that it seems like a fabricated thing. What is the Patna police doing in this case?
I didn't say that.
So my understanding is that, so I have to, say that we first must congratulate Patna police that before the arrival of Honorable Prime Minister, Patna police was able to really work on the inputs, whatever it got, and it actually busted the module, right? So Patna police is working on that, and they have shown, great alacrity. That is one. Second, they were also very sensitive enough to break this news after the Prime Minister was, safely back to Delhi. The third thing is, my personal, comment on this would be that I am looking at exaggeration on both sides. My previous, co-panelists have spoken about. I look at it more, one, from the law and order issue, that is one. And second, it's a series of, events like this has happened throughout the country. And it is a matter of concern. There's no doubt over it. So, when my previous, panelist was dismissive about it, I think, he's taking it too lightly and maybe for some reason. And I would not like to take that lightly. But we cannot also take it, extend it to huge proportions. There is a law and order issue. There are problems. And I think these people were, up to something. We cannot be dismissive about it. And that is what police is saying. And the documents, 2047 documents, whatever has come, it tells you that yes, the motives were not good. There's no doubt over it. Now, having said that, I think if we look at from the point of view of isolated incidents,
with a motive.
Then I think we will be doing a disservice.
I am sure, and I can say this with 100% guarantee that they wouldn't have succeeded. And that is the strength of our country. I'm sure they would not have succeeded ever. But the point remains, that there was a motive.
In fact, in Telangana
and what
also,
was the motive? Tuhin Sinha joins us on the debate.
In Telangana.
Let me go across to Tuhin. Tuhin, okay, make your point. Complete your point, sir. Then I'll go across to Tuhin.
There was something very similar.
Complete your point, sir.
Yeah, so I'm talking about a few months back in Telangana also, there was a module of something like that, which was busted. So there seems to be some coordinated efforts towards, ensuring that there is some kind of law and order issues are there in different states. So there is a larger motive. There is absolutely, we cannot dismiss it like that. But I would say that there is no need to be alarmist because
you're undermining this by saying it was a mere law and order issue, sir? Why do I feel that? I'm just asking you if there is a document that comes into foray and speaks about a 2047 plan. A 2047
yes,
plan.
Document is there.
And
but
Professor Ragi, I'm just
I would not say I'm undermining it.
Tuhin Sinha, let me go across to Tuhin. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm giving it.
You're not undermining it, but you're calling it a law and order issue. Tuhin Sinha, is it a mere law and order issue?
Absolutely.
India 2047 document that speaks about subjugating the Hindu majority, that speaks about a complete full-fledged showdown with the state, that speaks about making India an Islamic state by 2047, that also speaks about recruiting more and more people to the PFI, so that, and the ones who would be armed, who would be able to wage a battle against the state. Is it just mere law and order issue?
No, it is certainly not. It is a very serious issue. But at the same time, this toolkit 2047 has been an 800-year-old fantasy. In the last 800 years, they could not achieve it, and they will not achieve it in the next 800 years because the government is equally cognizant and alert to the threat. And this is not the first time this threat has come out. In 2010, a communist CM, an honest communist CM of Kerala, V. Achyutanandan, had stated something similar, that by 2030, PFI intends to convert Kerala into a Muslim-dominated state. So while they may be working, or they are probably working on a very devious plan, the government is equally cognizant of it and alert to it, and that is the reason we managed to thwart it. So hats off to the Patna police, and all of this, their nefarious activities are being combated. Some of it make it to the news, some of it don't make it to the news.
Okay, let me go across to Mr. Faisal Ali. Faisal, okay. Professor Agi wants to make a quick point.
Problem, then you are making a serious mistake. It is a case of ideology, and the ideology is very clear in terms of SIMI. Those, South Asia Terrorism Portal, which is tracks the terrorism all over world, all sorts of terrorism. So if you look at the kind of interpretation, it's a matter of ideology. They want to convert India into a Islamic world, and the SIMI and also for the PFI, all non-Muslim are kafirs, and for kafirs there should be no place for the kafirs in the Islamic world. So this is a very dangerous ideology. This is an ideology which goes against the very spirit of coexistence and so-called secularism. They are not ready to tolerate the kafir in the space they live in. So this matters should not be taken, just as a law and order problem. It's an ideology of hate. It is an ideology of intolerance towards all other religions, treating other religious communities as
right.
enemies.
I will go across to Syed Faisal Ali. Sir, I hope you're able to hear me, because there was some problem with the connectivity. The points that this document 2047 Faisal Ali speaks about, the points that are laid down in this document: political power has to return to the Muslims, bring down majority community to its knees, unite Muslims under the PFI, get personal details of Hindu RSS leaders. RSS wants to drive Muslims out of the country, so the need for an Islamic takeover. That is the propaganda that is being spread.
Please speak. Please speak. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, if anyone or any party or nation has come up, with this vision document 2047, I think I will call it a wishful thinking and a very idiotic thing to talk about. But what my learned friend Sanjeev Ragi is saying about Darul Harb and Darul Islam, the concept of Darul Harb and Darul Islam which he talked about is totally flawed, what he was talking about. Secondly, what I heard, that Kafirs can't live in any Muslim country. I will cite example of Saudi Arabia, I will cite example of UAE, I will cite example of 50% Muslim countries where thousands and thousands of non-Muslims are working and staying very peacefully. So there is no argument in that point. What the Patna police is claiming, why don't you talk about, you are talking about what Manish Kumar has said, the of that zone.
They are just the laborer and they are just the workers. They don't have equal rights in that space. They don't have equal rights in the political and cultural space of that country.
When your turn comes, my dear friend.
Dhimmi concept kya hai, sir? What is the concept of Dhimmi? What is the concept of Musrik? I am asking you.
I will tell you, and we have debated in the past.
You are a good friend of mine, and that's why I am pleasantly asking you.
Yeah, I will explain you, Rani Sahib. I will explain you.
Okay, there's a problem with that connection, sir. There's a problem with Syed Faisal Ali's connection. We'll just get that corrected, sir, because we're not able to hear you properly. So let me just get that corrected, and I'll come back to you. But the point here, the point that Professor Ragi is trying to make, that there is no equal concept for the non-Muslims in other countries. Now let me not get into that, but Tausif, the document that speaks about more and more recruitment to the PFI, that speaks about bringing down majority to its knees. All I'm trying to say is that can this radical terror mindset still be dismissed? Are you going to dismiss it all outright?
No, this mindset is very minuscule. This you can say is Mungeri Lal ke Haseen Sapne, which is never going to be fulfilled. Just like the other side, we have a Hindu Rashtra demand, which is not going to take place. Let us look at this main issue. Every now and then, when BJP and RSS is in trouble, PFI pops up.
Sir, there is
I
no
say
demand of Hindu Rashtra.
what the
And
PM
remember
and
the
HM,
fact
Prime Minister
that
and Home
SIMI
Minister,
and
why
PFI
are they
have a
not
link with the
banning
Jamaat-e
PFI?
Islami,
They are
Pakistan,
not
Nepal
banning
and
PFI
Bangladesh.
because PFI
And if
is
you
a
understand
savior
and
of
if you
BJP
track
and
the
RSS.
Islamic terrorism all
Whenever
over the
BJP
world, you
and
will be
RSS
finding
is
that
in a deep trouble,
the Hizbul Mujahideen,
help
Jaish-e
from
Muhammad,
PFI,
they are all
PFI
related
comes
to
out, PFI
Jamaat-e
story comes
Islami.
out, and it saves them.
They are,
please ask him not to speak over me.
Maududi, the
Please
scholar of
please
Islam
ask him
from
not to speak
Pakistan,
over
is
me.
the
I am not
philosopher
finished.
and guide of all this.
Okay. Professor Agi,
I
I'll
am
come
not
to you. Let
finished yet and he
Tausif
started.
make his point.
I said that.
Okay.
PFI
Tausif, go ahead. That happens in a debate.
I'm
It's
saying-
okay. Let's just take that
I'm
lightly.
saying-
Make your point, please.
I'm saying why the Home Minister and the Prime Minister has not acted against PFI. They can simply ban the PFI. And the reason they have not banned it is because PFI is a savior of BJP and RSS. Today, BJP and RSS is in deep trouble. And they are using PFI story as their savior. Whenever there is a trouble, when there is an uproar
No,
by
sir, you're
people
calling
against
PFI a savior for the
current
BJP?
ruling, absolutely, PFI is a savior of BJP and RSS.
No,
Why are they not banning PFI
are you
then?
trying to save the PFI by saying that it is a savior for the BJP?
Absolutely not. I am saying
Are you trying to? Seems like you're trying to save the PFI by saying that.
I am questioning Prime Minister and Home Minister why they are not banning PFI. They are in power from last so many years.
No, sir.
7-8 years. Why have they not banned
so
it?
PFI gets banned and. Okay, Tausif, I'm asking you a question, direct question. PFI will be banned and Tausif will support that. Should I go ahead and say that? They put a ban on PFI and Tausif Ahmed will support that ban.
I am saying please ban PFI. You have materials, they are anti-national, ban it.
Okay.
But you are not banning it because if they are your savior. In difficult times, PFI story comes out to help BJP save face, to help RSS save face. That is what I am saying. Please ask the difficult times?
You're saying the difficult times, the PFI story comes out. What are the difficult times? What are the difficult times?
Current time is difficult time for BJP. We have seen what happened with Agnipath. We have seen the anger of people.
Why is it difficult?
We have seen the demonstration. We have seen the difficult time because employment is at high, because price rise is high, because our GDP has fallen, because we have seen story. We see what is happening in Parliament. They are banning new words. They are curbing the opposition.
It is one of the fastest
voice.
economy of the world. We are exporting even in the defense sector.
The government is in a state of crisis, and to get out of that, you get a story like this, and you blame the PFI. So whatever Patna police is saying, whatever arrests have been made, it's all a sham. It's all a sham. That is exactly what Tausif Ahmed is saying.
No, allow me to respond.
No, it's all a sham.
PFF modus operandi
Allow me
is
to
like
respond. You made the point. Now can I respond?
SSP has said it.
Tausif
Please read the statement of Patna SSP.
Okay, Tausif, Tuin is making his point.
Tausif belongs to the
Okay, Tuin is countering you. Let him speak now. Tuin, go ahead.
So Tausif belongs to the Tariq Ka Bataoge club. They were similarly, provoking us ki mandir ka banaoge. Now the mandir is under construction. They were similarly provoking us. Article 370 ka bataoge. Wo bhi ho gaya. So, please understand that it was a BJP government which way back in 2001 had banned SIMI, and whenever the ban on PFI happens, it will be done by us. But we follow due processes. There is a certain chicanery that the PFI has successfully managed to employ. But to offset that, in 2019, there was a landmark legislation where irrespective of whichever, whether an individual belongs to any organization or not, we have been very stringent with any individual acting as a terrorist. So all that is being taken care of, and in due course of time, the Tariq Ka Bataoge club will also see a possible ban. But till now, for now, we have adequately taken care and protected the country against terror activities, and you should salute the law enforcing and the police for the agencies of the police for that.
Of RSS as well as PFI.
Don't
The
indulge
modus
in loose
operandi
talk.
of
You're on a
PFI
national channel.
is martial art
I think
training.
you should not
Martial art training
indulge in
camp.
loose
No,
talk unless you have
I really want to know what Manish has to say on this, because here you see Tausif, you see Dr. DK Giri, who was clearly questioning these arrests, and they all seem to be suggesting that this is a fabrication.
Sucharita, I did not. Please don't disturb my point.
No,
I did not say that.
I think,
Okay, what did you say? Okay. Let me go across to Professor DK Giri. Let him make his point. Professor DK Giri, you did question the entire plot right in the beginning, and that is why I questioned you. You do not question the plot. You think these arrests are right?
Hold on,
arrests are right?
Hold on, Sucharita. No, don't. You are much better than that. Don't distort or tweak my points. I never said it. I said if this information is available with the people like Sangeet Ragi and the government, why the actions has not been taken, why it has to go that far, and why PFI has not been banned. I was questioning the efficacy of intelligence and the knowledge available with government supporters. I never said anything about that. That is the point I made. So please.
Okay. You're trying to say that this information is there. Why not go ahead and why not go ahead and ban the PFI? Pathikrit wants to make out. Pathikrit, quickly, then I'll go across to
Sucharita, you know what happened, Sucharita, after Simi was banned because of several alleged involvement in terror attacks. What PFI has done is that they have consistently stayed below the radar. They have not got involved in any direct terror attack, but they have been involved in, allegedly involved in a lot of instances of organized violence, perpetrated by a particular community. But you don't have a law as of yet in this country for banning an organization for orchestrating organized violence. And that is a problem. This is a legal jurisprudence problem that we have in this country. And that is what Tuhin was mentioning about the chicanery part of PFI. I think today the country realized that there are certain organizations, including PFI, which is a threat. Now you have to have some legal reforms in terms of making sure that they can be taken care of. Secondly, it is also a reality, Sucharita, many state governments are extremely reluctant and they take it as a law and order issue. These are not law and order issue. Terrorist doesn't happen in one day. A terror attack doesn't happen in one day. Terrorism starts with indoctrination.
There are journalists who are
Dr. Giri, please speak when your Dr. Giri. Please speak when your turn comes. Your name is not Pathikrit Pai. My name is Pathikrit Pai. Indoctrination starts, any kind of issue starts with indoctrination, followed by radicalism, and then only somebody becomes a terrorist. So when you don't, you stop this guy. This has a habit of jumping around. Stop heckling. Stop becoming a troll. Let me speak when you speak when your time comes. Stop becoming a troll at the age of 60. Stop becoming a troll. Why are you behaving like a troll? Speak when your time comes. You are a professor. Behave like a professor. Don't behave like a teenager.
Don't tell me. Don't
behave like a professor.
You are telling me.
Speak when your time comes.
Because they are being smart.
You don't understand basic intents. There are so many PFI people have been arrested, but PFI as an organization could not be banned because they have not been involved in a major terror attack. They have been involved in major instances of indoctrination and organized violence. If you don't understand ABC like this, please don't come in debates. Don't come in debates if you don't understand ABC, if you don't have the patience to listen.
Come on,
speaking like a troll. You're speaking like a troll. Please let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. You are a troll.
You are giving.
You are a 60-year-old troll.
Now,
why don't you let me finish first?
All right. Now, Professor Giri and Pathikrit Pai, we will take it one at a time. Okay. Let Pathikrit finish his point, and then I will give you free time to heckle him. I will give you free time to counter him, Professor Giri. Let Pathikrit make his point.
Sucharita, we have a very complex situation of hybrid war today. You don't have direct terror attacks alone happening. There are many other things happening. Narco-terrorism today is a reality. Narco is not a substance abuse issue anymore. Narco is part of terrorism. Fake currency is part of hybrid war. So the country has to evolve as to how you deal with these organizations, but the government has to come out with a solution solution. It cannot continue like this. And obviously, till the time you don't ban PFI, of course, people can join PFI till the time you don't ban it. So officially, they are not banned because there are certain complexities and they remain below the radar. But till the time you ban it, till the time you ban PFI, people will join it. So there is a problem, and the government has to address the problem.
Manish ji, let him speak, and then I will come back to you. Pratikrit, the bigger point. Now the document also says that PFI has friendly ties with Turkey, and there are efforts are on to get help from more Islamic countries. Now all this detail that emerges speaks of a larger plot, Manish ji. And that is why I want to know, you call it a law and order problem, but if this was being initiated at a larger level, that means there were recruitments being made, there were people who were brainwashed and made to think that Muslims are being targeted in the country, and this is the way to fight the battle.
So,
Manish ji.
So my issue is that I have difference of opinion on both sides. Reason being, I think proper perspective. Okay. It requires a bit of perspective. While we understand that there is a problem, there is no doubt over it, and these are a series of challenges which our country has been facing for a long period of time. So, this is not something new, and all of us understand. Sorry. But I am against, these kind of events becoming too alarmist. India is very strong. You are looking at some really fringe small organizations. Absolutely, the kind of things which they are talking is reprehensible and anti-national. But at the same time, we are a strong nation. We are a large nation. I think we should be mature enough to deal with these small irritants over a period of time. And I am in favor of police and intelligence agencies taking care of these. And our country has been able to take care of these. That's how we are able to manage our economy and other aspects of our country. So this is what I am saying. So while I do not disagree with on the right side too much who are saying that all of these things are happening, I feel that sometimes proper perspective is not being there and it is being taken in too much out of context. I think that was my limited point.
Okay, Syed Faisal Ali. Syed Faisal Ali, I'm sorry, I had some issues with your audio. You can make your point, sir.
See, what happened, 2 people have been arrested in Patna and a lot of things are being said about them. My point is, who is ruling Bihar? It is BJP government. And it's the BJP JDU government. And the country is also ruled by the BJP government. Time and again this name PFI pops up. What is the reason that no concrete action is being taken against them? First. Secondly, I really doubt that these 2 people with the help of sword and some pamphlet and some flags can overthrow a mighty government of Narendra Modi in India. It's laughable. See, problem is that there is certainly radicalization.
I agree with it. I agree with it, sir. It is laughable. It is laughable. But the question still remains, sir.
It is laughable.
The question still remains that there was a sinister plan.
But the larger point is that why we are not...
Sucharita,
where is the proof? Where is the proof of the sinister plan? If there are evidences, if there are substantial evidences, documentary evidences that there were some plot against Narendra Modi or plot to destabilize the country, then why the intelligence failed? We must nail the intelligence guys. What were they doing? This name of PFI.
No, do you call this a failure or a success of intelligence? That is also a question. That these arrests were made a day before the Prime Minister's visit. So you call them a success or a failure of intelligence?
Yes.
My question is that now the sinister plot came into foray. Now that is a failure. That is a failure or success of intelligence?
No. Please don't. This is your perception. This is your perception of success and failure. What I am saying that the police is saying that they were operating this group. They were operating these activities in Patna, the capital of Bihar, for a couple of days. What the intelligence guys were doing, what the government of the state was doing. That is why I am calling it is failure of the Nitish Kumar government. It is a failure of the BJP government in unearthing this plot, if at all. And secondly, please, for God's sake,
No, so Professor Ragi, you see this as a failure or a success? Why I'm asking this is that this was
conspiracy.
Maybe this was just the beginning, and this could have perpetrated, and this could have.
This beginning was there for a couple of months.
Growing larger and spreading to other states as well.
If at all there was
Professor Ragi,
they should have arrested them.
Sucharita,
in heart of Patna,
I am constrained to remember 2000 and 2001 when I used to discuss that SIMI is a terrorist organization and it is going to be a big threat to India's democracy and particularly the security of the country. My friend from the Muslim community and the intellectuals I am talking about from the research institute used to say that what are you talking about? It is all the gimmicks of the RSS and the BJP which is in power. They want to demonize the Muslim. Even when the issue of Pakistan was raised, the people used to say that this is a laughing, it's why you are making a laughing stock yourself. Pakistan cannot be a reality, but Pakistan became a reality. Secondly, what I am saying that yes, this small group is not powerful enough to dethrone Modi government. It is not a question of dethroning Modi government or anybody any government. The point is a larger conspiracy, larger ideology, and the ideology is that radicalize the Muslims. And remember, sir, you must have read Maududi. Maududi is the scholar whom all sections of Islamic world follow, and Maududi is actually the founder of Jamaat-e-Islami. Jamaat-e-Islami is the one which is the guiding, which provides the guiding principles to Jaise Muhammad, Laskar-e-Taiba, Hizbul Mujahideen, and the PFI and SIMI are holding connections with them. You know that the Islamic world, Islamic world are trying to destabilize India, and they are finding with whom they are.
Professor Ragi, I just want to draw your attention to the point that is being made in this document. Professor Ragi, now this document also speaks about getting personal details of Hindu and RSS leaders, because it says that RSS wants to drive Muslims out of the country. So the need for an Islamic takeover. This is the point that is being driven home. That Muslims are being targeted and RSS is behind that. Now that is the question, that is the propaganda that is being laid out. Now you think this is the propaganda that is being peddled time and again to spread this kind of hatred?
Sucharita, I simply brush aside all this kind of narrative.
Why they are killing people in Algeria? That the modus operandi of the RSS and PFI is same.
Why they are making terror attacks in Afghanistan, whom they are terrorizing, whom they are attacking, why they are doing this kind of Syria, why they are doing it in Morocco, why they are doing it in Tunisia. Look, this is the ideology. This is the ideology.
No, let me speak. Let me ask Faisal Ali this. Faisal Ali, Syed Faisal Ali. No, I will give you full time, sir. Please speak.
Yes.
But I am trying to ask you a question. Do you think you don't see anything sinister behind this entire document? You don't see anything sinister behind these 6 arrests that have been made? You do not see any larger conspiracy behind an entire plot that was being planned and prepared for instilling hatred in the country? Nothing wrong?
Sucharita, have you seen the document? Have you seen the document seized? Taking a cherry picking is very easy.
No, sir,
okay?
I have.
But I have
seen the document of SIMI, sir. I can tell you, I have seen the same.
Whoever is
terrorism portal.
Okay. Professor Ragi, let me take his point.
Let me speak now. Please, have patience. See, what these people were doing, if at all they were training Muslim youth and radicalizing them, it is a matter of grave concern. There is no denying the fact. There should not be any radicalization on any side of the divide, whether it is the Hindu radicalization or Muslim radicalization. There should not be any radicalization. My point is that what the government was doing, what the intelligence agencies were doing, and have you seen the documents? if those documents which claims that they should have a Muslim government or Islamic government or Sharia government, document 2047, they are enough and substantial document. If at all they have been recovered from there, then there should be stringent action against this group. They should be booked. There should be a fast-track court to address these issues. Why no action has been taken in last 8 years? This is the point.
No.
Yes.
No. Yes,
certainly if they are found guilty.
What I'm saying is that you're time and again saying that if this has happened, if that has happened. So now let me ask Manish ji if this has happened or not. When you say if, because I have police personnel on record coming in front of the press and saying this. Manish ji, would the Patna police do this if they do not have facts?
Police is not claiming that.
No. Let Manish ji answer that. I have to quickly go into a short break after that.
I had the opportunity to read that. Yeah. Sucharita ji, I have the opportunity to read some of the pages of the document. It's a very damning document. There is no doubt over it. So, which is why we cannot dismiss it. And I think anybody who dismisses it takes it to a very,
please be clear.
It's a very dangerous thing.
Some of the paragraphs.
So, no, I'm not talking about paragraphs. I have read around 8 to 10 pages. That is what the time I got it. And it's a pretty damning document. I think where I'm questioning these documents is that do they have the capability? There is no doubt that the intention is bad and sinister. There's no doubt over it. Right. And this is not the first document which organizations these have come up with. This would not be the last. No, that's a different matter. But the fact is that even if the intention is there, it should be criticized and it should be brought to the people. And I think that is what police is talking about. So I would take exception to your statement that law and order has not worked.
There again, my dear friend, the government of the day is failing, both at the center and in the state.
No, I think I agree with the fact that there has to be a greater investigation into this entire sinister plot, and I think the country needs to know what was the entire plan that was unraveling behind this sinister plot. When the police comes out and gives us these details, we want more. We want to know what was the plan, and was there really a battalion that was being prepared to actually convert India into an Islamic state, at least the motive being that, because we know that there is nothing that comes close to India's secularism. We want it that way, and we will make sure it stays that way. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me on Burning Question.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 9 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
Cricketer Jasprit Bumrah regains #1 spot in ICC men's ODI bowler rankings following his career best spell in England, which helped the men in blue crush England by 10 wickets in the first ODI. Olympic medalist PV Sindhu makes winning start to Singapore Open 2022 campaign, defeating her Belgian opponent in the first round of the women's singles. Playing on court 1, PV Sindhu won the match in 2 straight games. Germany confirms women's Euro 2022 quarterfinals berth, beating Spain in Group B game at the Brentford Community Stadium. The Germans have topped the Group B table following this win. Now, in a major development after Republic Bharat's impact, Jharkhand government has reduced the number of Urdu schools from 8 to 4 in the Jamtara district. Jharkhand government issued a statement on the matter. This comes